Morning, and thank you for being with us. Grocery stores will soon be packed with people seeking out ingredients for a traditional Thanksgiving meal. According to the American Farm Bureau Federation, that meal will be about 20% more expensive this year compared to last year. With a dinner for 10 people with 12 different menu items costing an average of $64. In the week since that calculation was done, there is some good news. The cost of turkey has gone down slightly, making that meal a little less expensive. Beyond Thanksgiving, will grocery costs remain high, or maybe is there some hope that they'll go down? Wayne Pesch is joining me with some insight. He is president of the Connecticut Food Association. Wayne, thank you for being back on the show.
Good morning, Eric.
I had someone tell me in my other job, my law office today, it's one day of the year, Thanksgiving, and we do all these stories about the cost of the meal, but it is a little bit of a bellwether, right? It's a meal that we all buy every year, so we can kind of track the cost. So what are we seeing? 20%? Does that seem about on the nose?
That sounds about right. People are actually out there shopping now. Some of the trends that we're seeing are that folks are really looking for deals. They're buying in bulk. They're willing to switch up ingredients. They'll use different ingredients if the costs are beneficial. And they're shopping earlier. So there's this post-pandemic malaise of folks who are worried that there's going to be product in the stores. So they're out there shopping earlier, and we're seeing that trend happen. So they're out there today and much earlier than they have been historically shopping for deals.
So let's talk about some of the issues behind it. Of course, the turkey is the big centerpiece of the meal. Many retailers use that to draw people into the store, given that the coupons or whatever else to get that turkey cheap and hope they buy all the fixins. Is that one of the big drivers to this increased cost? Is the turkey price? I know there was a bird flu issue that led to some supply problems. Is that the big driver of this higher number?
No. You mentioned the avian flu. There are bird flus just like there are human flus, and that certainly drove some of it. But I think really some of the cost pressures around all of the other items on the dinner table are real. So I think what consumers are doing is they're making trade-offs. So some folks may not even have turkey this year. If it's not within their budget, they'll go for a cheaper item per se, as well as all of the fixings on the sides as well. So people are feeling the pinch. I think it was 70% of Americans are extremely concerned about fuel and food prices. And so they are making plans accordingly based on what they're seeing. The interesting thing is what the pandemic did was manufacturers of food products couldn't guarantee that they would have a supply of particular products. So they cut back on their promotional spending back to retailers to cut prices and give sale prices. So if you look today, there are a lot less items on sale than there were 2 or 3 years ago at this time, because the manufacturers can't guarantee that they're going to be able to supply the products if they put them on sale. So it's a catch-22 in that sense, and I think you need to be very savvy. I think the fact that people are shopping earlier makes a lot of sense. I think people are buying in bulk. I know people are buying in bulk. And we're seeing some shortages still around some of these items that have persisted, such as paper goods, household cleaning items, refrigerated items, deli meats and things of that nature. So there is still a malaise out there, and there is still a drag in the supply chain. I spoke to a fellow who owns a supermarket chain in Arizona just the other day, and during the pandemic, their distribution center was at about 50% on a good day. We're up at about 85% in our distribution center, so it has gotten better, but there are mitigating factors that we always need to be concerned about as we look into the future, too.
Now, we were talking about the last time you and I spoke, we were both just in little boxes on Zoom, and here we're live, and I'm trying to remember when it was. It may well have been this show last year talking turkey prices, but when you look at moving forward, are we seeing signs? I mean, as I was doing some research to talk to you, I saw things like salmon and chicken prices are actually dropping.
Correct.
So are we seeing signs that at some point soon things will get better?
They have gotten better, but there are such serious risks, global risks. So, for example, olive oil is about to go through the roof in the next. Stock up on your olive oil, because what's happening with olive oil is there's been a drought in Greece and in Spain. They've lost half their crop. That's going to impact us. There's a potential rail strike in December. There's a war in Ukraine that is mitigating grain globally. So grain is being moved around to different places to make up for that shortage that's coming from Ukraine. So as we tend to get better in some areas, we tend to have problems in other areas. It's a global supply chain. And a lot of these products are going to be impacted into the future as well. So things are getting better on some fronts, and there's some risk on some other fronts as we look into the future.
All right, so that didn't make me feel better at all. That was not reassuring, Wayne.
No.
So let me ask you something that might make people feel better.
Sure.
If you are concerned about these prices, what's your advice? A lot of people maybe today or over the next couple days will be out shopping, whether it's the Thanksgiving meal or just going forward. Are there things we can do or things we can look for to try to save a buck?
I think that a lot of people, and I think private label offers some relief from a pricing standpoint. So national brand versus a private label brand. I think bulk shopping, if you're not, it's tough when you're an empty nester, but if you have a family and a larger family, bulk shopping makes a lot of sense. And I think really shopping around different retail outlets and different retailers to really price compare, because there are some savings to be had there as well.
And as we have about a minute left, but as we head past Thanksgiving and on into the winter, is there something you'll be watching, one indicator where you'll say, oh, it's getting worse, it's getting better? Or is it really just a big picture?
I think if you look, protein prices were a problem, animal protein prices. I mean, most folks want meat on their plate, not all, but most. Those have started to get a little bit better. Egg prices have started to get a little bit better, so that's the good news on that side of it. But olive oil and some of these other ingredients that I discussed could go the other way. So where we're going to make up some ground with some of these items that we shop and cook with, we'll see some stuff on the other side that we hadn't seen an issue with that could potentially start to catch some inflation.
Well, listen, this is local news. We normally tell people to go buy all the eggs and all the milk before a snowstorm. You're here to hear first. Go buy all the olive oil. Wayne Pesch said so.
That's true.
That's all our time. Wayne, thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you back here again.
Thank you so much, Eric. Appreciate your time.